Every action we take, every thought we've ever had, is generated by the human brain. Yet, precisely how it functions remains one of the greatest unsolved puzzles. It appears that the deeper we delve into its mysteries, the more unexpected discoveries we make. Neil deGrasse Tyson. ZZZZZZ were. Damn, that vent is rattling again. It's driving me nuts. ZZZZZ, ZZZ, were. I let out an annoyed sigh and tugged on the stray lock of hair poking out from under my baseball cap, pulling it back into place. My gaze shifts from my hair to the security system. This old setup is constantly humming and banging, totally outdated and desperately needing a replacement. Do I need a replacement, or just a change? Maybe I am obsolete. My eyes linger over the screens, the static piercing my pupils, yet showing nothing. Is it safe to rest my head, even just for a moment? Working the night shift is miserable, and honestly, so am I. My eyelids grow heavier, the familiar weight pressing down, like an unwelcome visitor casting shadows over my mind. I'm used to the sharp clarity of being awake, thoughts dancing around like fireflies before settling into vision. The world quiets, wrapping me up like a cozy quilt, lulling me into the verge of sleep. When I finally open my eyes, I'm sitting outside, surrounded by ancient trees twisting toward the stars, hidden by a thin, snowy fog. A solid wood cabin stands before me, serene in its solitude. Under the soft glow of pale moonlight, 1,000 memories flood in. The scent of burning wood, distant but lively laughter, wild and sorrowful stories, all swirling in the deepest corners like secrets tangled in winter frost. As sleep takes over, the eerie isolation of the woods calls to me, my last fragments of consciousness lost among the rustling leaves in the cold breeze. I turn to peek into the cold woods, white spruce trees sprouting up, creating a beautiful scene in the snowy landscape. A woman stands behind a tree in the distance, her presence making me falter. Suddenly, I'm back in the office, a familiar unease settling in the pit of my stomach. I try to move my fingers, but no movement comes. I'm paralyzed. Oh no, not tonight. Panic grips me, chill shooting down my spine as I feel a hand gently placed on me. Mike, honey, it's okay. Mommy won't hurt you again. An eerie voice whispers, rough like she's just finished a cigarette. I recognize the voice, but it's not my mother. I know who my parents are, not by experience. My father died before I was born, and my mother lost custody and then took her own life. I never knew them, and my mind uses that as a shield. Abruptly, my coworker Tyler bursts into the office, the sound of the door slamming open, snapping me back to reality. I sit up straight, feeling myself shake from what just happened. It wasn't real, I tell myself. I can't let that mess get to me. Really, Mike? Sleeping on the job again? Come on, man. What if I was an intruder? Despite his serious tone, Tyler chuckles. It's okay now. I have my friend, actually my only friend. Yeah. I've just been out of it since Jessica and I broke up, you know? It feels like the world just stopped, and now I have to fight to focus or sleep. Oh, I totally get it, man. You need to get that girl off your mind. Honestly, I never liked her. It always felt like she was judging me. When Tyler says that, I roll my eyes, knowing better than to press the topic. Well, anyway, I'm sorry. Tonight, Ryan and his brother are having a party. You want to come? It's a strange offer coming from Tyler, considering he and Ryan had a drunken fist fight last time they were around each other. Do I want to go meet clueless women and do Molly? Nah, I'm good on that one, Chief. Sarcasm drips from my words. I'm feeling irritable. That irritation balloons up as I start biting my nails, a bad habit that's ruined any hope of having normal nails. You know, I wouldn't go to a party where drugs are being passed around. This one's more chill. You should get out of the house, man. I know he's trying to help, but something feels off about his offer. All right, just stop bringing it up. I'll think about going for a few minutes. Okay. The pause before I say, okay, lets Tyler know I'm genuinely considering it. The next hour flies by as we sit in the office, staring at the camera feeds, occasionally doing routine checks to ensure the building is secure and there aren't any animals or people lurking. We work security for a pharmaceutical company. I think about how someone like Tyler, a tall, built guy with long black dreads tipped with blonde, and a slight but noticeable Jamaican accent, ended up working this job with me. I know why he's here. He doesn't sleep, so he works the night shift as a security guard. Although I think Tyler fits the role better. I'm slim, not weak, but not as strong or intimidating as he is. I turn to look at Tyler, who's fiddling with the zipper on his security jacket. Yo, man, this van's been parked in the lot for like half an hour. It isn't one of ours, is it? Tyler bends over to check the feed. I don't think so. Maybe we should go check it out, he says, heading toward the office door. Wait, I don't know. Are you sure we should go out there? I'm not a big fan of confrontation, but Tyler couldn't care less. Well, there's an unmarked van sitting suspiciously in the lot. It doesn't have a license plate. Let me think about it. Let's go, Mike. His assertiveness echoes when he says my name. Tyler and I both head out of the office. I stand beside him, hoping to signal to the civilian that there's no one in charge. If it's a criminal, what do we do? It's too late to think. We exit through the West Wing door, and as we approach the van, we can hear music blaring so loud that the shaking of the rusted metal is audible. At first, we thought the music was coming from a house a block or so down the street. Sometimes they had house parties where the music was loud enough to hear from the West Wing door. Tyler approaches the van, knocking on the tinted window. The back doesn't have windows. Excuse me. Roll the window down, please, he shouts over the music. There's a pause, then the music lowers, and the window comes down with it. Cigarette smoke rolls out of the car, and a slight cough comes from a sunken pale face emerging from the smoke. Why, hello there, gentlemen. Didn't mean to bother anyone, thought I was alone. The tone of the man's voice makes me visibly wary. You see that building over there? Tyler points to the pharmacy. We work here. This is private property, and I'm afraid you can't just park out here and blast music. The man's cold eyes scan me, examining me, and I feel chills down my spine again. His eyes move up and down. He just chuckles, as if something funny popped into his mind. Well, that's my bad. I can take my leave. It's not like I was doing anything important, just taking a minute, you know? I look at Tyler, who seems uneasy, not nervous, but alert. I wonder why. Your van is missing plates. Why is that? Tyler's tone sharpens. They just expired. Already had a cop try to pull me over about it. Got a damn ticket. Tyler interrupts the man, feeling something off about the whole situation. Maybe I should call the cops, get a search warrant for the tinted van, and another ticket for the plates unless we all want to just carry on with our night? He makes it clear we're not there to chat, which seems to have unsettled the man. Right. The man grumbles roughly, his tone and mood shifting. Without saying another word, the tinted window rolls back up, the music blares, and he speeds out of the parking lot. Jesus, what an asshole and a creep. I don't know, something was off about that guy, right? Tyler turns to me, waiting for my confirmation. But I stand still, staring at where the man was just leaning against the window. The way he looked at me, it was like a lion looking at its prey. I couldn't breathe. The entire night feels like a weird premonition. I have a terrible feeling that something's coming. I don't know when, I don't know what, but something. I find myself sitting back in the office chair, waiting for Tyler to finish the final property check. Those woods, that woman, that man, what's it all about? Am I crazy to think they're connected? You already know you're crazy. My mind keeps pondering until it drifts, laying back in the chair, muscles relaxing until I fall asleep. Now I'm standing before the hut, glistening trees releasing their fragrance through the wind. My senses are overwhelmed. I'm here. I step forward, the shining white snow crunching beneath my Timberland boots. I tilt my head to barely peek into the tent, but my eyes land on a sight I can't comprehend. A woman sits calmly with her legs crossed and hands folded together. I recognize her majestic dark skin. She's beautiful, her skin so smooth it almost looks like she's devoid of pores. But the most distinguishing detail, the thing that's stuck with me over the years, is her beautiful silky, long black hair. Her face has no features, and suddenly I know. It's my mother, bits and pieces of her. I only have one photo of her as a child, her face faded in it. Across from her sit Jessica and Tyler. What the hell? What the hell is this? I'm so wrapped up in my thoughts, I forget this is all a fantasy, a dream. Mom, is that you? Oh, Mike, we'll be together again soon. Don't worry, all of us will. Jessica speaks, my eyes widen. When my mind mimics loved ones, there are features I can use to identify they're not real, a useful skill during sleep paralysis. But her voice sounds so real. What is that supposed to? Mike, Tyler stands up from the dinner table. Wake up! What? My tone screams fear. Wake up! Mike! I shoot up from the desk, turning to meet Tyler's eyes. You all right, dude? You were shaking and looked all sweaty. He chuckles. Yeah man, I'm fine. I'm not fine, I think immediately after his response. There's a pause between us. Tyler takes it as a cue to move on. You want to check out that party, even just for a little bit? I sigh. I don't want to, but I know Tyler is just worried about me. Sure, let's go. We leave the building. I didn't drive to work, so my car wasn't there. We both get into Tyler's yellow 1997 Ford Ranger. Not a bad car, older, but I always liked how it looked. Even if I'm not a Ford fan, I can appreciate a nice car. As we get into the car, there's this feeling, awkward but not awkward. Tyler has known me since junior year of high school. We're not exactly friends, but we know each other. Still, I feel like Tyler is the only person I've ever trusted. I have no family, no real place to call home. Yet, at this moment, I realize I've never told Tyler where I came from, how I got here. Hey Mike, you were mumbling something about your mom earlier. You seem pretty shaken up. What's been going on lately? You're barely sleeping, nodding off at work. Genuine concern echoes in his voice. I'm okay. You know, I was just thinking I've never really told you about my parents, huh? Your parents? Tyler's tone shifts from concern to curiosity. Yeah, my father passed away before I was born. I was born and lived in Canada. Well, not for long anyway. I only have a few memories. It's getting harder to remember these days. I can't even think of what my mother looks like anymore. They took me away from her, so I mostly remember growing up in homes. You've never mentioned any of this before. I'm just wondering why you're bringing it up now. Not something I love to talk about, but you're my best friend, and I want you to know that, I guess, know me. My stomach twists. It hurts. So, they took me away from my mom. I don't really know why. I think she might have been abusing drugs, coping with my dad's death. I think she also got diagnosed with schizophrenia. CPS caught wind, and next thing I knew, I was being raised in homes where I was beaten, reminded of my faults. You know, my mother may have made mistakes, but she's the only one who understood my problems. Everyone else struggled to help me. Tyler doesn't say anything for a minute. My words sink in, pulling at his thoughts. The unsettling silence stretches until Tyler feels he has to speak. I'm sorry, man. I really am. How could they just strip you away from your mother? My mother was ill, diagnosed with schizophrenia. They tried diagnosing me with it when I was a kid. It didn't work, too young. But I have been diagnosed with brief psychotic disorder, as well as sleep paralysis. It's a hard thing to live with, and sometimes I see my mom, Tyler. Tyler glances over at me while he drives. My mother lives the Rastafarian lifestyle. In our culture, it's a way of life where you grow out your dreads, barely touch them, wear certain clothes, eat certain foods. It has so many preset rules. When I moved out to get away from my family, I told her I thought the way she lived was disgusting. I regret that more than anything in my life. I should have taken part in it. It's my culture. Instead of embracing it, I disrespected it, and that's something I will never forgive myself for. Mike, we all make mistakes. And you're a victim. The sincerity in his tone shakes me. I feel a new sense of companionship with my childhood friend. Well, why don't you start now? I feel too ashamed, I suppose. Maybe someday, but it'd have to start with my mom. I deserve that, and so does she. My point is, don't let this tear you up. Don't think of yourself as a villain. There's a moment where neither of us talks. We just let the words sink in. Well, we're here, bud. We won't stay long, I promise. Tyler and I get out of the car. The cultural difference, yet our agreement, stuns me. How could two people from completely different backgrounds understand each other? I want to talk to Tyler more, but before I know it, he's gone. I find myself stuck in a crowd of people, feeling like a lone dandelion in a field of dying weeds. All the shouting, all the cries blend into an awful symphony of mental horror for me. I rush to the bathroom, lock the door behind me, and splash water on my face. God damn it, what is wrong with? My mind stops moving. For once, I'm not asleep. It feels even more surreal. My mother, sitting on the sink, her hollow face staring right at me in the mirror. My body is stunned, my breath is halted. What's happening? Oh, Mike, what are you doing here? My darling little boy would never come to a place like this, how could he? Mom, this isn't real. What the actual fuck is going on right now? A maniacal laugh escapes my thin lips. I really am going insane. Unfortunately, no. I am here, Mike, and I'm here for a reason. It'll all be clear soon. There's a knock at the bathroom door. I cover my face with my hands, my breath quivering, my body shaking. Hello? A voice comes from the hall. I collect myself, take a moment to breathe. I take a sharp inhale, then exhale aggressively. I pick myself up from the floor, twist the knob to open the door. What a fool I was not to recognize the voice of the woman who just broke up with me. Hello? I say as I open the door. The woman's eyes widen. How could this coincidentally happen? Hey Mike, I didn't know you'd be here. The awkward pause after she speaks feels like centuries. Right. You broke up with me, ghosted me for 3 months, and all you have to say is you didn't expect me to be here? Figures. I pushed past Jessica's shoulder, the contact making me regret my decision to come here even more. Mike, don't be like that. She's slurring. I assume she's been here for a while, and is probably drunk or high. For some reason, this thought process brings me to a halt. Before I know it, or can even think, I'm outside, feet in the pool, beer in hand, and Jessica sitting across from me. But that's what she did to me. That's why I loved her so deeply, still love her, although I'd never admit that, even to myself. She had that charm though, I have to admit. She made any bad situation seem good. Jessica sighs, looking over at me with this look in her eyes, a look I desperately try to decipher, yet see nothing. Please, don't pretend like you don't know why I left. That night was really scary for me, Mike. To see someone I knew to be so gentle become like that. Jessica, I would never hurt you. You know that, right? Mike, let's not have a rerun. What happened already happened. The only direction is forward. How have you been? The tone shifts from shaky to honest, confirming that she has lost interest in me. Can't really sleep after, yeah. Other than that, it is what it is, getting through the days. Jesus, way to be a Debbie Downer, Mike. She giggles, the way she giggles, and the dimples in her cheeks form the most beautiful, genuine smile anyone has ever seen. Do you actually want to know? Before I can even look at her, she nods her head. I haven't been great, Nessie. Everything feels so dim. The dreams have become more vivid. It's like my memories are flooding back, but they're not real, or maybe they are. I'm tearing myself up trying to find out the difference. I swear I can remember my mother singing to me, but I never recalled this memory before. It's just strange, you know? I turn to look at Jessica, who appears to be sleeping while sitting up. Come on, let's get you home. I nudge her, but her eyes don't open. Nessie? I nudge her again, but still no movement. Nessie! Oh God, what did you do? Tyler? Tyler? I plead and cry, begging my friend to make his superhero appearance or for anyone to help. Tyler runs out of the house. Seeing me on the floor hovering over Jessica's body only brings sinister thoughts to the man who's now slightly drunk. What the hell happened, Mike? My shaky hands reach over to her throat to find a pulse. I don't know. She must have taken something. I can barely feel her heartbeat. We have to get to a hospital right now. Tyler hands his keys to me, clearly sober. I grasp Jessica's wrists, and Tyler follows my lead, grabbing her ankles. We hoist her up and carry her to Tyler's truck, setting her in the back seat. On the way to the hospital, I wonder what could have happened if I wasn't there. What would be of Jessica right now? I don't want to know. I turn on the radio to drown out the constant thoughts and noise in my head. Woman missing, description as follows, age 23, blonde hair, last seen wearing white sweatpants and an orange cutoff sweatshirt. Please contact authorities if you see anyone matching this description. It wasn't completely unusual to hear about someone going missing in the area, but it also wasn't common, especially a missing report for an adult. We reached the hospital, and I'm so thankful. Whether I was speeding the entire time or not, I wasn't sure, nor did I care. I pick up Jessica, and Tyler follows my lead again. A woman sitting outside the massive building on a bench, smoking a cigarette, turns her attention to us. I assume she's a nurse or employed by the hospital because she's wearing standard scrubs. Without any words exchanged, the next thing we see is Jessica being taken away on a stretcher. I sit outside the hospital, my face in my hands, breath quavering once again. Usually, I'd internalize this awful feeling, but for some reason, I know it wasn't my fault. I worry about Jessica, yet the thought crosses my mind. Would she want me to worry about her? You need a cigarette? The woman from before, the nurse, or the doctor? A little ironic, don't you think? Aren't you supposed to tell me how awful cigarettes are, doctor? She chuckles softly. Nurse. You can call me Amy, though. Your girlfriend is going to be all right, by the way. She needs her stomach pumped and then some observation. After that, she's good to go. I let out a light sigh. Good, that's good. She's my ex-girlfriend, by the way. Ah, my bad. I didn't mean to assume. What about that other man? Coworker. I'm sorry, I don't mean to come off rude, but why are you out here talking to me? Amy laughs again, this time louder. I feel like I'm being made fun of, but I don't really mind. I just thought you looked like someone who needed another someone to talk to. Well, I appreciate that, Amy. Most people wouldn't take the time to do a decent thing like that. I guess I'm not most people. Her light rose lips form a sweet smile before she stubs her cigarette out and walks back into the building. I feel a sense of loneliness. I lay my head back, looking at the sky. The clouds form interesting shapes. One looks like a camel, another like a flower growing in an empty meadow. With that, I drift into sleep. But I don't find myself in the snow-wooded terrain I usually see. No, this time it's different. This time it's worse. God damn it. What was his, Mike? A woman exclaims, her bright red lipstick smeared, eyelashes curled with makeup. He pissed the bed again. You know, when you said we'd be taking a child in, I didn't think he'd be such a burden. The man has black hair slicked to the side with too much product. The woman drags the boy out of bed and places him in the corner. The boy stands obediently with a blank face. Well, anything to say for yourself, brat? With a meek expression, he turns over. I was just scared. A quiet, nervous tone surrounds his words. The boy stands in the corner, his eyes squeezed shut. The voice changes from a man to a child. It was all your fault, Mike. When the boy opens his eyes, it seems like he was observing from afar, but now he's truly here. He turns around, and before he can assess his surroundings, Mike realizes he isn't in the house anymore. He stands in the Arctic woods once again. They all begin to point at him, running around him as they laugh, the laughter merging together, forming a demonic harmony. And then, nothing. Tell me, Mike, do you feel safe in your home? Are there any times you feel scared or nervous? I find myself back in front of the hospital, or at least I think I do. I snap into reality, but can't see anything in front of me. In reality, my senses have been stripped away, a blank slate in a blank world. That is until I hear the damned woman's voice again. Before it was clear, now it's distorted, what I'm used to. Ah, poor thing. Don't forget you tore yourself away from us, not anyone else. It was you. It was all your fault. A gasp escapes me as I sit up, struggling and pleading, gasping for air. A few tears break through my eyes, but they quickly stop. I make my way back into the hospital, or what I think is the hospital. It feels like everything is fabricated, just a mirror of something real, my mind reflecting a distorted reality. Amy steps back outside, this time actually sitting down on the bench with me. I realize I don't know where Tyler is. I figure he's off being a ladies' man with some other nurse. What happened tonight? Amy says, as she scoots the lower half of her body to be comfortable, opens her pack of cigarettes, and pulls out 2 sticks of cancer. I honestly don't know. We showed up to a party, and Jessica was there. We got to talking, and next thing I knew, I was speeding on my way to the hospital. While I speak, Amy slips a cigarette between my fingers and smiles lightly. I'm not much of a smoker, but tonight I'll take her up on it. Well, it looks like she either got laced or took pills while drinking. I interject. She was laced. I say firmly, she's not the type to do something stupid. I get it. I'll take your word for it. What's your name, by the way, weirdo? Mine is Amy. As she asks, she lifts her arm, lighter in hand, and lights the cigarette I'm holding. I take a long, slow drag, feeling the burning sensation creep down my throat into my lungs, as if each cell is burning up with each hit. Mike, nice to meet you, Amy. I force a grin. It feels wrong. She chuckles lightly. Nice to meet you too, Mike, but you don't need to force anything with me. I get it. This world is shitty sometimes. You're having a shitty night, for that I'm sorry. Her words feel like a warm, embracing hug. I needed that. It feels reassuring. Thanks, funny enough, that means a lot. Amy puts her hand on my shoulder and barely squeezes. Get some sleep. Come back in the morning. I nod and take the last drag of the cigarette she gave me. I wait before simply walking away. I feel extending the interaction could sour it, even though it was honestly one of the most reassuring conversations I've had. But as I get back in my truck, I realize there's no sleep tonight. I have to go back to work, and I also have the sudden realization Tyler still isn't around. I call him, no answer. Other than just sitting in the car waiting for him, I'm not sure what else to do. I lean my head back in the seat, my neck joints cracking gently. When was the last time I worked out? I think. When was the last time I even stretched? I look out the window at the tall pine trees, smell the pine. As I inhale the sweet aroma of nature, I slip into sleep. This time, I'm not taken anywhere. I'm not in what I believe to be my old house. I'm not in one of my foster homes. I'm in the truck. Tyler's truck. But something feels off. I can feel something eating away at me. I lift my head and see the faceless woman again. My demeanor diminishes. I feel so small. Why won't you just leave me alone? The woman giggles softly. Leave you? You mean like you left me? No, Mike. Never. I'm here for you. Don't you understand? I want to help you. They stole you away from me. But it's coming. Just like I said it would. I can feel my muscles tighten. The hairs on my arms stiffen, shooting straight up. Mom, stop this. Please, you're gone. The faceless woman tilts her head, her blank expression eerie. Oh, honey, I never left. She slowly brings her hands up to my chest, gently placing her palms on my shirt before I feel a heavy impact, falling out of the vehicle. I notice there's no second impact. I'm just falling. Sometimes I fall fast, sometimes slow, sometimes it feels like I'm suspended in air, space, and time. I begin to scream violently, and I jolt forward, finding myself back in the vehicle. I slam my head forward so hard it hits the dashboard with immense force. I can feel a little blood trickle from the top of my nose down my cheek into my mouth. The blood tastes bitter, like copper, but at least it reminds me this is real. I'm okay. Jesus Christ, Mike! Tyler yells from the driver's seat. We're driving. We're almost back to the building we work at. Dude, I think you broke your fucking nose. I bunch up my shirt and gently tap it against the gash on my nose. Even the gentle taps register on my pain receptors. I'm sorry, Tyler. I was having a night terror. I think driving made it worse. So it's my fault? Tyler says, slightly agitated. He's trying to be a good friend, but he can only handle so much in one night. No, no. Tonight has just been, I don't know, eventful. I rub the remaining blood off my face. My nose is still sore and actively swelling. Tyler lets out an exasperated sigh. I get it, man. It's been a long night. I'm sorry. I really didn't know Jessica would be there. We don't have to talk about it. I snap back immediately. I'm just glad she's safe. Mike, you never told me what happened between you guys. It seems pretty serious. Tyler, I sigh. I stop myself, realizing I haven't told anyone about what happened with me and Jessica. No, you're right, T. I need to talk about this. Tyler doesn't say anything, just waits patiently for me to speak. As I gather my words, he remains silent. Jessica and I broke up like a month ago. I painfully sigh, quivering as memories resurface. It was the first time I had a sleep paralysis episode in a long time. It was really bad, like really bad. I freaked out. When I woke up, I thought I was having a schizophrenic episode. I couldn't discern what was reality and what wasn't. I went into psychosis. I began to choke on my words, tears streaming down my face as the memories prod and jab at my brain. I thought she was going, and I heard her. When I came to, we were in opposite corners of the room, cuts and bruises. I choke on my words. They're too hard to swallow. I'm an awful person, Tyler. As I begin to cry, I fold my hands over my face to hide my shame, to hide the monster I think I am. Damn, Mike. I don't even. Tyler looks at me and sees his friend in pain. He pulls the truck over and places his hand gently on my shoulder. Listen, what you did was messed up. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But it also wasn't your fault. You're not an abuser, Mike. You're a damaged person. I'm sorry, for you and for Jessica. Shit happens, man, but you're a good person. You know that, don't you? I don't know what to think of myself now that he said that. Is he a good person? The bigger question is, can good people do bad things and still be good? Mike? Tyler feels the silence for too long. It becomes a burden. Yeah. You're right. I have no idea what to say. It feels like a worm is eating my stomach, ready to burst through my chest. We both hop out of the truck after Tyler parks. We don't really exchange words. There's simply an understanding in the air. Tonight went horribly. I throw on my black jacket that has a patch sewn on it that says, Security. The patch is lazily sewn, hanging off the jacket slightly. Tyler does the same, and as we sit down, he turns to me. Look, it's been a long night. I'll go run rounds on the west wing of the property, catch some Z's, and you can run your rounds on the east when I get back. Don't talk back. Let's just get tonight's shift done together. Tyler walks off and begins his rounds. I sit there for a moment, silence enveloping me. I'm scared to sleep, to even drift off. But like Tyler said, tonight has been a long night, and sleep has become inevitable. I'm in the middle of the ocean, expecting a storm, a tidal wave to come and sweep me away. But it's beautiful. The sun beams warmth onto my skin. The ocean breeze smells sweet, but of course salty. I can't help but relax. A voice comes out of nowhere, the same voice that's always there. Mike, do you remember our day at the beach? You and your cousin had so much fun. I'd never seen you so happy. The next day your father died. I never saw that happy boy again. These words pierced through my heart. I never thought about that day or the day. How could I? I was so young. It was so painful. I needed you after that, and you abandoned me. Yeah, well, I needed you too, kid. You're the one who... You could have lived. You could have gotten better and fought for me. I didn't notice it, but tears streamed down my face. I was broken, Mike. I never, ever meant to hurt you. You know that, right? The faceless woman I so desperately wish I could recognize gently hugs me. I can feel her presence, but not her touch. Yeah, me too. Tyler walks around the west wing of the pharmaceutical building. I know there won't be anyone breaking in, but he also knows he has to do his job. He peeks through the windows and doors, shines his flashlight down the hollow hallways. I wonder if Mike is sleeping. I wonder if that's a good thing. Tyler feels concerned for his friend. He thinks back to when they met. Tyler was about 16, and I was maybe 14. It was the infamous neighborhood of Compton, California. Tyler was walking home when he saw a scrawny white kid being beaten up by two older boys. Tyler barreled towards the boy immediately. Hey! Get the fuck off him. Young Tyler pleads, trying to sound tough, but it doesn't work. Oh yeah. Or what? You think you can do something about it? The older kids drop the bloodied, smaller child. Run! Tyler shouts as he starts his own altercation with the bullies. He feels every punch slam into his face, his ribs, his stomach. He's on the verge of bawling and puking when the smaller kid tackles one of the older boys. They all fight until sundown, when the older kids finally give up and go home. The two younger children, battered and bruised, exchange a look of mutual pain and understanding. Tears fall down their faces onto the grass stained red from their blood, and then they laugh, walking each other home. Tyler looks back on that moment fondly. It was a sad moment, but a great memory, the day he met me. That scrawny white kid couldn't fight for shit, but neither could Tyler. When he returns to the office, I'm already awake. I'm quiet. The rest of the night goes on without any other events. I do my rounds, we watch the security cameras, and we both catch a little more shut-eye. Looking back now, we wish we knew that would be one of our few last chances to sleep.